I was about to ask you about the incendiary devices in the Pacific Northwest, and I would love to hear you talk a little bit more about what Americans should take away from that. Like, that's a pretty devastating thing. That was real. That wasn't fake. Ballots were destroyed, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yeah.
so I wonder, what does the country do about that? What does the local government or the state government do when ballots are actually destroyed? And what is the message to the American people?
Yeah, thanks. It's really important. So, first of all, just so folks know, two incendiary devices, one in Portland, Oregon, one in Vancouver, Washington. The first box in Portland had an anti-incendiary device, so all of the ballots were safe except three of them. In Washington, there were hundreds that were potentially damaged, and they're dealing with them. And what they are doing is a normal process. If there are any damaged ballots, they are reaching the impacted voters and they are providing them replacement ballots. That is a normal process. And of course, they are working closely with the FBI and with law enforcement to investigate this criminal activity, and that's what it is, and they will find the criminals who did it, and they will be held criminally accountable. I think the larger message here is this is an incredibly complex event. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of election workers, tens of thousands of polling places, some 150 million Americans voting. We know there will be incidents, there will be disruptions. And when those disruptions include criminal behavior, it will be identified, investigated, and those perpetrators will be held criminally accountable. But election officials have been preparing for these elections for years now. They've exercised, they've trained for it, they've prepared against a full range of scenarios. I know this because we've been on the ground running nearly 200 exercises, preparing for a full range of disruption. So these incidents, while disruptive, will not impact the security and integrity of votes being cast and the votes that are cast as being counted. And at the end of the day, it's unfortunate that we are seeing these things, but election officials have prepared for them and they will continue to be able to deliver safe and secure and free and fair elections. And the last thing I'd say is, as you can imagine, they're also working with their law enforcement and private security to ensure that they are increasing patrols around the drop boxes and making sure they have those cameras in place so that they can deter any other criminal activity.